I welcome all of you, and I am sure you people are preparing well for your coming IOCL interviews and GDs. So, on this channel, we are going to start now series of really important topics for group discussion. As you know, in group discussion, he asks you the topics from the current relevance, the current topics which are very important in current relevance, and then he will make some topic for GD and give it to you. So, in one particular issue can give you couple of topics in GD. So, in that first topic which I am going to take for you today is group discussion topic related to Taliban rule in Afghanistan. As you know, after 20 years of occupation by United States forces and Western forces, NATO forces, after 20 years, 2001 to 2021, Taliban have come back again to power. If you go back 20 years, then 1994 mein Taliban started coming, and that was reaction to, you see, USSR, that time Russia, USSR or Russia occupation, and then Taliban 96 mein they were in power. And maybe you remember Kandahar episode, जिसमें इंडिया का एक प्लेन हाईजैक करके कंधार एयरपोर्ट पे ले गए थे टेररिस्ट. That episode was during Vajpayee government. That was, I suppose, 98-99. That time Taliban were ruling. उसके बाद 9/11 हुआ. अलकायदा के जो टेररिस्ट थे, ओसामा बिन लेदन, जो अलकायदा के बहुत से टेररिस्ट उस टाइम पे एक्टिव थे अफगानिस्तान में, and Osama bin Laden was the main person behind this 9/11 attacks. So 2001 में America attacked Afghanistan, and then that is how war on terror as declared by US started. 20 साल में US spent trillions of dollars in Afghanistan reconstruction activities, और 3.5 lakh Afghan forces को ट्रेन किया, and they were trained, they were provided the weapons, they were provided the arms and ammunitions. लेकिन अभी जब डिक्लेयर किया, दिस जो बाइडेन गवर्नमेंट ने डिक्लेयर किया कि 31 अगस्त को वी विल लीव, तो जितने भी अफगानिस्तान के जो फोर्सेस थे, दे लॉस्ट देयर मोरल, एंड देन दिस तालिबान कुड इजीली कैप्चर काबुल एंड प्रेसिडेंट फ्लेड द कंट्री. एज यू नो, दिस इज द स्टोरी. अब तालिबान रूल जो अफगानिस्तान में आया, इसके पीछे बहुत बड़ा एक जो आई विल से फैक्टर है, वो पाकिस्तान सपोर्ट है. पाकिस्तान में एज यू नो आर्मी एंड ISI इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी है उनका. दैट एजेंसी वांट्स तालिबान रूल इन अफगानिस्तान बिकॉज मे बी दैट हेल्प्स देयर एजेंडा, बिकॉज पाकिस्तान हैज़ यूज्ड टेररिज्म एज अ स्टेट पॉलिसी टू वेज वॉर इन कश्मीर और इन इंडिया. सो वो इंडिया के साथ फुल फ्लेज्ड वॉर तो नहीं करना चाहते, नहीं कर सकते हैं, लेकिन दे वॉन्ट टू ब्लीड इंडिया थ्रू टेररिज्म एंड ऑल. So उसमें Taliban can be help to them, and that's the reason that now Taliban, when they came to power, Pakistan is basically putting its all effort that now this recognition should be given to Taliban government, and Taliban have also approached India for recognition and the support of India. In these 20 years, India has done lot of work, reconstruction work. In fact, अफगानिस्तान की पार्लियामेंट बनाने में इंडिया हैज़ सपोर्टेड अ लॉट. सो ऐसे बहुत सा इन्फॉर्मेशन है विच वी शुड नो, एंड बहुत से टॉपिक्स बन जाएंगे तालिबान रूल इन अफगानिस्तान से रिलेटेड इन योर कमिंग GD. तो अब कौन कौन से टॉपिक बन सकते हैं, इसको स्टॉप करके अपना एक बार सारे टॉपिक्स को नोट करेंगे आप, क्या क्या टॉपिक बन सकते हैं. इसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स जो मेरे को लगता है, that can be Taliban rule in Afghanistan and its impact on India. अगर हम इंडिया पे impact देखेंगे क्या होगा, that can be one very important topic which can be there in GD. And Taliban rule in Afghanistan and what can be the road ahead. Should India engage itself with Afghanistan? ऐसा तो नहीं हम टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं अफगानिस्तान में बहुत अपना टाइम एंगेज करके उनको अपनी तरफ लाने के लिए. सो शुड इंडिया इवन गो फॉर दैट और नॉट, दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. फॉरेन पॉलिसी क्या होना चाहिए इंडिया का, दैट कैन बी वन टॉपिक, इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. एंड यू नो दिस गुड तालिबान, बैड तालिबान, दैट इज अनदर टॉपिक विच इज आई थिंक इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर GD. एंड तालिबान इन अफगानिस्तान क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म. अभी तालिबान के अफगानिस्तान में आने से, और अगर तालिबान, इफ इट इज गुड तालिबान एज दे आर projecting, so they will not get involved in the architect of Pakistan for cross border terrorism. लेकिन if it is the same Taliban जो पहले था पिछली बार था, then obviously cross border terrorism will be a part and parcel of their strategy, so that will not be good for India. तो ये सारे topics मेरे को लगता है they are the relevant topics from where the question the GD can be asked. इन सारे topics के base पे you have to prepare yourself. I am going to give you a lot of content here, and this document also you take and prepare really good for this particular topic, which is a very important topic for preparation. So for that, what are the informations required? And for, let me tell you, this document which I am going to read here, discuss with you, this document is available to you. You can download this document and prepare for this particular topic. So see that geographic location of Afghanistan. You know, this red line is called a Durand line, though Afghanistan does not accept it, but during the British era there were three lines: a Durand line, Red Cliff line, McMahon line. Red Cliff line is India, Pakistan, Durand line is Afghanistan, Pakistan, and McMahon line is India and China now. So as you can see, Afghanistan shares a border with India also, but this is a very small border, couple of hundreds of kilometers, and this particular border between India and Afghanistan is actually now in Pakistan administered, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So that is the part basically which we share the boundary with Afghanistan. The largest boundary of Afghanistan is with Pakistan. So as you can understand, the role Pakistan can play in constructive or destructive interference, we can call it, construction or destruction of Afghanistan. So role Pakistan can play. And then comes China, though China does not share much boundary with Afghanistan, but that is China is also one of the neighboring countries, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan and Iran. So largest influence on Afghanistan will be from Pakistan and Iran, and yes, Afghanistan would be interested that it should have good relation with other countries. Afghanistan is a landlocked country, so it is not connected to sea and all. One side is Iran, then Pakistan, something like that. So this is the map which shows the relevance of Pakistan for Afghanistan. You know, the disturbing statement of Prime Minister of Pakistan, Afghans have broken the shackles of slavery. That means now Afghans are independent. So now these Western forces have gone. That is the statement given by Prime Minister of Pakistan. Now for group discussion, whatever we want to speak in GD, we should have some points with us. And different kind of topic can be asked in group discussion, but we should have some points. And what can be the points? This statement shows that Pakistan is so excited for Taliban rule in Afghanistan. Not only that, Pakistan is going to different countries requesting them to recognize Taliban. So Pakistan wants to reflect that yes, they are in favor of Taliban and for their vested interest. What should be done is Pakistan should constructively play a good role for the benefit of people of Afghanistan. You know, if Taliban regime does not do good work, it will not be good for the people of Afghanistan. Afghanistan should not again turn back into safe haven for terrorists. Afghanistan should remain country, neutral country, and it should remain a country for the people of Afghanistan. It should not let its soil to be misused. Land of Afghanistan or country should not be allowed to be misused by any neighboring countries for activities like terrorist activities and all. So Pakistan should not create terror camps again there for training of the militants or terrorists. So entire world, including people of Afghanistan, are not very happy and they are worried under the rule of Taliban, except Pakistan, which is which is pushing ahead, pushing forward the recognition of Taliban regime in Afghanistan. You know, it is said that the Taliban rebellion, as you know, Talibans were only 1 lakh or something, and US trained Afghanis forces, they were 3.5 lakh. So how so easily Taliban could capture entire Afghanistan? The role played by ISI of Pakistan and Pakistan army and Pakistan rebellions were conducted. So Pakistan was not in favor of US occupation of Afghanistan and they wanted Taliban rule to be again established. So is the case of China and Russia. So China, Russia, Pakistan, they have played the role that Taliban come back to the power and US forces go out. Now this is actually not good for the people of Afghanistan. If Taliban regime again goes back and the same repressive regime it becomes, then it may not be good for people of Afghanistan. So now Afghanistan rule in Taliban rule in Afghanistan is in favor of Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan wants to sponsor the terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir again, and Pakistan has raised this, it has used this as a tool of state policy. It is as a tool of state policy that we want to use it as a terrorism as a state policy. Pakistan military and ISI have helped Taliban over the years, and despite getting millions of dollars of international aid, Pakistan has used this money for basically making Western forces move out of Afghanistan and Taliban coming to the power. We have seen that Taliban rule in Afghanistan in the past has not been very good. It was not good for people of Afghanistan, and for especially for women. They rule the country through Shariat law, but interpretation of Shariat law is highly subjective. It is not objective. People interpret the Shariat law as per their interpretation. They have different interpretations. So past mein jab Taliban were ruling, just before 9/11, Taliban rule was there, and you also know Kandahar episode when one Air India aeroplane was basically hijacked from Nepal and then taken to Kandahar. So those things we have already seen. So this is something which is actually not good. This Taliban rule was not good in the past. Okay, now Taliban rule may look like very good in short term for Pakistan, but even in the long term it is not good for Pakistan. We have seen that involvement of ISI and Pakistan army with Taliban, it has not been good for even Pakistan, because terrorist knows nobody. So if terrorists can attack India, they can attack Pakistan also. And we have seen in the past also Pakistan, there were so many terrorist attacks by Taliban. Peshawar school attack, everybody knows, and these kind of attacks have been there. So are terrorists good for Pakistan? Answer is no. In fact, good terrorist and bad terrorist, this categorization is given by Pakistan only. Those terrorists are good which wage the war against India, and those terrorists are bad which attack Pakistan. So that is a classification they have given. In our opinion, there is nothing like good terrorist or bad terrorist. Terrorists are terrorists. So if today they are good to you, tomorrow they will become bad to you. It is like that only. So terrorism is never a good thing for humanity. It should be basically everybody should wage war against it. So Pakistan is supporting Taliban as of now. Pro-Taliban gesture by Pakistan may be short-term gain for Pakistan, but not long-term. So Pakistan has always been a safe haven for Taliban also when US invaded Afghanistan. 9/11, main culprit of 9/11 was Osama bin Laden, and Al-Qaeda, he was the leader of Al-Qaeda, and American wanted to hunt him. Do you know where he was hunted down and where he was killed? In Pakistan, couple of meters, hundreds of meters from Pakistan force cantonment, armed forces cantonment. So Pakistan has been a safe haven for terrorists in that particular country. So that is also not in favor of basically Pakistan. That is not good for Pakistan also. So can we classify good terrorist and bad terrorist? Pakistan coined this term to differentiate between those terrorists which are supporting Pakistan's cause in India. So those terrorists which are going to India and waging the war, they are good, otherwise they are bad, something like that. Terrorists are terrorists, they are not good, they are bad for humanity. Bad rule of Taliban we have already seen in the past, and now we need to see whether Taliban can be good or bad. So they are holding the press conferences and they are convincing others that our rule is good for all of you, and that is how it is going on. But it needs to be seen, because their past track record is not good and trust cannot be built on what they are saying. So they have been repressive for the people of Afghanistan and for women, so their rule has not been good. Terrorist is always bad and never good, even if they look good in short term, but they are bad in long term. Taliban have declared general amnesty to all. As I told you, they held the press conference and then they said we will give amnesty to all. Taliban have assured right to women as per Shariat law, that we will provide the right, they can go to office, they can get education and all, but in the past they had stopped women from getting education and all, from work and everybody, they cannot move out of home or something. So in the past they have done that. Now they are saying that okay, they will allow it. It needs to be seen with passage of time, how it goes. What is the Indian concern in Afghanistan? Number one, soil of Afghanistan should not be allowed to be used against any nation including India. No terror camps should be there within Afghanistan. Safe passage should be provided to Indian from Afghanistan. India continues to provide developmental aid and infrastructure development to Afghanistan if that is used in proper manner. India has in the past also done that, and India is ready to do that again, but if it is used for constructive purpose. Women should be provided safety, freedom and human treatment under Taliban regime. India should recognize Taliban regime only if Taliban leader assure the concerns of India will be addressed. So India is worried about the people of India in that country. The safe passage should be given to them. Terror camp should not be created there, and Afghanistan soil should not be used against anti-India activity. That is India's concern, and if that is met, India is ready to cooperate with Afghanistan. Yes, now US pull out. US was there for the 20 years and trillions of dollars have been spent in waging the war against terrorism. US constructed that country also and trained the military also, professional military of 3.5 lakh Afghanis they treated. But because of international issues, I suppose it was becoming unmanageable now in Afghanistan for America, because lot of money was being spent and nothing constructive was coming out on the ground because of involvement of Pakistan and rebellion done by Taliban with the aid of Pakistan. China was involving itself, Russia was involving itself. So international community was not in one unity. There were Western forces and then there were these countries, you know, Russia, China and Pakistan for their Western interest. And then there were neutral countries like India which were actually genuinely interested that Afghanistan should develop as a good country and the people of Afghanistan should get benefited. So democracy should be restored in that particular country and people get quality of life. That is what was the intention of countries like India. So that is how it was. So USA neutralized Al-Qaeda. 9/11 के बाद अटैक किया, Al-Qaeda को उन्होंने न्यूट्रलाइज किया. पिछले 20 साल में lot of money was spent, thousands of citizens and armed personnel of USA lost their life. So no foreign rule can be forever. So US cannot be there forever. It was to come out someday or the other. They trained Afghanis military, but you know when Taliban, which were having the support of Pakistan and all, then when the Talibans wanted to come to Kabul, they got no resistance. Why? Because maybe there was a lot of corruption in the armed forces of Taliban. President also fled the country. He left the country and he went out of the country. And morale of the armed forces was very less. The day US declared that now we are leaving this country, the armed forces morale was very low, and Talibans were knowing that they are getting now the support of China and Pakistan, and that was another reason why armed forces morale was low in Afghanistan, and then that is how it all happened. US was rule was not sustainable. Countries like China, Pakistan, Russia have played role in not in favor of US but in favor of Taliban. US and many other nations will keep providing support to Afghanistan people. That is what they have promised. Now, what are the challenges in Afghanistan? So, the main challenge is how Pakistan and China are going to use Taliban for their benefit. That is the main challenge, right? Pakistan may seek help of Taliban to wage war against India. Same is the purpose of China, IS and other kind of terrorist groups. We have seen that how the airport of Kabul airport was bombed by ISIS. So that ISIS kind of terrorist groups will also try to have their own influence. So what is the situation of women under Shariat law? Poor leadership, whether there are leaders in Taliban now, poor leadership there. Human rights violation, rule of hardliners in Afghanistan, economy and employment for people in Afghanistan, that is another challenge. So these are couple of challenges which actually are there in Afghanistan. What can be the road ahead? Neighboring countries like Pakistan, India should try to convince Taliban for good governance. So if you can do something, that is the thing we should do. United Nations, security resolution. As you know, India was one of the non-permanent member of United Nations. There are 15 members, 5 permanent, 10 non-permanent. So on the, on behalf of India, India pushed it hard that let's come out with some kind of resolution and think of constructing Afghanistan. Now what we should have some kind of positive construction in the Afghanistan. So resolution was passed there. Countries like US and European Union are going to play the constructive role. US and NATO forces are still going to prevent the terrorist from coming to the power or something like that. They will keep on attacking ISIS or other terrorist groups. Terrorism is a global problem, and it should be neutralized. Terrorism should not be there. Before pandemic, COVID pandemic, terrorism was the main trouble this world was basically fighting with. And you know, after US occupied Afghanistan, and this Afghanistan, Pakistan, this is the main epicenter of you know, terrorist activities, breeding terrorist activities. That is not good for the world, because you know, they can attack any country, Europe, America. Nobody is safe if terrorist activities are basically promoted at any part, in any part of the world. So countries should keep playing constructive role in building infrastructure in Afghanistan. So that has to be there. So all these points which I have discussed with you, just revise these points. They are important points, and the topic can be given to you in this way or that way. Prepare it well so that you are in position to handle the topic when it is given to you in the group discussion. So keep revising it, take this document and prepare well. Thank you.